All right, so good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Captain's Table. Very happy to have you all here joining us today, and I'm very pleased to, in a minute, introduce our guest speakers, Rick and Nicole, who you can see on the screen at the moment. But before we do get started, want to thank everyone that I know there's a lot on. The market's busy at the moment. There's a lot of webinars that you might go to, but we particularly are grateful for your support of Captain's Table. So thank you all for being here. Every month we'll try and deliver some really useful content that you can immediately implement into your recruitment business. I'm Tony Hall, as you all know, Managing Director of Captain's Table. I specialise in helping to grow recruitment companies and help owners to really get the best out of their business and enjoy the incredible challenges of running and growing a recruitment company. Captain's Table is brought to you with the very, very loyal and grateful support of our sponsors. We've got JobAdder, Ayers Group, A Positive, Digipro and William Buck. Thank you all, and some of your representatives are here with us today. Thank you so much for your support. Couldn't do it without you, and really appreciate your ongoing support and input into Captain's Table. Next month, we'll be having William Buck talk with us at Captain's Table, all things financial, accounting wise, and we're going to have a special offer where owners of recruitment business can bring any of their financial support team along to really benefit from that very important pre-June 30 session. It won't be just tax time and budgeting. There'll be a whole bunch of extra financially related content that is really important for a high-performing recruitment company. So I would like now to hand over to Rick and Nicole. Some of you might remember, well, a lot of you might remember Rick and Nicole from their JXT days. They've learned a lot from their time there, and they have started a brand new business called Shazami, which is all the best of what they did before, but much lower cost, very innovative, very cutting edge, very easy to implement. And but what they're going to do today is they're going to share so much around what's happening in the recruitment marketing and recruitment marketing technology space, and many tips, ideas, and a whole bunch of stuff that they see that we don't get to see, that is going to be very useful for everyone. So Rick and Nicole, over to you, and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Tony. We're very excited to be here and very excited to share some tips and tricks with everyone. And yeah, I'm Nicole, co-founder of Shazami, and yeah, looking forward to this 45 minutes.
Fantastic. Yes, thank you, Captain Tony. Good to be here. As you know, we've been doing this for 14 years. The latest venture, Shazami, is really cutting edge. We have found out by talking to most of our clients, prospects in the industry, that we're a couple of years ahead of what we've been doing in the past and the people that play in this space. So very excited to be here. We're very young. We're a startup. We're 4 months old, but we already have 50 or so clients. So super excited to be here. So I will try and not to stuff up the screen sharing, which we're going to jump between sharing screen and between talking. So what you can see here is obviously the team that sits behind Shazami. We've mentioned who we are, but we also have Adam Ryan, who's got a very long track record in this space, started as one of the first people at Seek, and Paula as well, very much UK, South Africa, lots of digital technology backgrounds. And then the difference this time is that we've gone global straight away. So that has allowed us really to pick the best teams, the best partners around the globe. So we've got people in the US, we've got people in the Philippines, we've got people in Europe, people in India, and that gives us really that 24/7 global presence straight away out of the block. So not only does that give us coverage there, but also influences some of the things that we do. And we've got some really good ideas already from the USA as well. So very important that we're global. So, Nicole.
Actually, before we chose the name Shazami, and I guess that's probably one of the first things people say to me, where did the name come from? So it is Shazami. And the Urban Dictionary, we actually chose the name before we saw this, but it explicitly defines awesomeness in an exclamatory fashion. So I had to say that because Rick kept messing up exclamatory. So I'm up for this slide, but that's a good piece of information about Shazami.
Yeah. All right. Now, do you want to talk about who we are, Nick, and what we do?
Yeah, so Shazami is, do you need to share that? Oh, you good? Okay, so recruitment marketing technology is everything that we're about. We want to make marketing much easier for recruitment businesses to achieve because it's notoriously quite difficult, cumbersome, and a quagmire of where do you start. So first of all, that's our priority. Run by a group of people who are sincerely passionate about this industry and the betterment of this industry and helping brands be more successful online. And my pet peeve was seeing people wasting money a lot on technologies and trying to make things work. So we're here to fix all of that and help you guys.
Yes, and one of the visions that we had was to ensure that things run a lot smoother. So we're pretty much real-time, 24/7 support. It's all meant to be able to be done by humans and not developers. So that's the big change. We've really removed the coding, the development out of this mix. So yeah, that's a bit about Shazami, but now we jump into what we're here to talk about today. So let me see if I got this right. So the first part that we will talk about, actually before this slide, so I did mess up this one already, but the first one is about the website architecture and what allows you to outperform your competitors online. So architecture, I will actually stop this, otherwise it's going to confuse people. Sorry about that. Site architecture is something that is dear to my heart, and it is often totally overlooked, but it is really the first step in becoming a super performer online. Now, when we talk about architecture, we talk about creating silos to address and to talk to your audience. So obviously, as we know, recruiters have clients, candidates, and also internal staff audience. So there's really three audiences you need to talk to. So for example, if you're an accountant, you need to have a silo called your candidate silo, which then talks to accounting jobs, banking jobs, finance jobs, and the content on those pages need to be really focused on talking to that audience. If you then do it for clients, you need to use the term recruitment. So, you know, that is super important in the site architecture.
Now, that's fundamental pieces that we often see people don't do, and they're paying a lot of money for SEO on their website. But getting that solid foundation in place that talks about exactly what it is you do and what you want people finding you for is one of the most pertinent pieces of being successful at being found online in the first place.
Correct. As we'll talk in a minute about SEO and PPC, if you don't have this set up, your money on PPC, paid advertising on Google, for example, will go to waste because Google wants people to land on the relevant pages. And if that content isn't optimized, you will end up paying more for that, for those terms. So, you know, that's why we put site architecture first, because everything that comes after that, being SEO, PPC, etc., all rely on that piece being right. It's like building a house, your foundation. So I will share now because Nicole's going to talk about the next topic.
Yes, very good. So what we're going to talk about now is your reputation online. That's your business reputation. And also, you know, tackle that thing about, you know, reviews. And I know in the past, recruiters have been very anti, I don't want to ask for reviews. The problem that you're going to encounter by sort of having that mentality is normally going to be the only people that leave you reviews are the people you don't want you leaving reviews. So you should be selectively asking your candidates, if you're game enough, the candidates not placed in opportunities, but definitely the candidates that were placed in jobs, to leave you Google reviews, Facebook reviews, and all sorts of other industry reviews. That's going to help massively with your SEO, as is making sure that your brand is consistent and correct across the World Wide Web. It's amazing how many times we see that a company's name might be written slightly differently. It might have Pty Ltd after it, or their address is Unit 3, number 55, instead of 55 Unit 3. All of these things, if they're not correct across Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google, that to the search engines, they don't understand that you're the same company. So you need to make sure that they're correct. When we look now at reviews online, when you're requesting reviews, you can see the stats on the page, but 88% of consumers actually trust those reviews like they would a friend coming up to them and say, hey, you should go to this recruitment company. They were great. We're also touching in here about Google My Business. This is one that I'm really would reinforce that if you do anything today, do go away and look at your Google My Business listing. Google's trying to be a bit more like almost a yellow pages, and the Google My Business listing is free for you to use. I haven't yet actually found a recruiter that's really using that as an opportunity. You should be sharing all the content that you push to LinkedIn or anywhere else. You should also be sharing it to your Google My Business page. This will help with your SEO. You can update lots of information about the sort of recruitment silos that you work in and how you can help people. That's really, really important. I know, Tony, we spoke about this the other day. You know, people are like, oh my gosh, I got a bad review. What should I do? And it's going to happen, guys. I mean, unfortunately, not everyone's going to love something about the service that's been provided occasionally. And it's just part of it. And so I would say don't sweat it. It's about just continuing to keep going along, getting more reviews. People actually do trust companies even a bit more when they see that there's not always perfect reviews, but the way that you've responded actually negates that. If it is something sensitive that is getting a bit controversial or whatever, I would be recommending, look, please send us a private message. We take this seriously, and jumping on that. Yeah, so the one point really distressed in here is getting your brand consistent on the World Wide Web, getting reviews online. That's going to make up to 20% now of your SEO that you get across the board on search engines. So really important to focus on those two things in your business.
Great. Thanks, Nicole. The next slide, if I can get that working, is about the core web vitals. So as we all know, Google has lots of things that we've heard of: page speed, Lighthouse, mobile first, all of those things. They have recently decided to roll that all into something called core web vitals. Now, the essence behind it is they want everyone to have a great experience online with your brand. However, what they have found is that only 15% of sites on the web are actually classified as good. Now, good in their term means that 75% of visitors to that site have a great experience. Now, 15% is obviously very low. We have looked across the recruitment sector, and we found that, you know, for most people that aren't using one of the providers that focuses on this, they fall outside that 15%. So very important that that you do understand what these web vitals are made up of. So at a high level, what they look at is the speed of loading. So anything over four seconds for loading of the site is poor, and they will start to penalize you. The interactivity, which is what they call how you go about navigating through the site. Are the menus easy to use? Are the buttons properly marked up, etc.? So how you engage with the brand, so applying for a job, all those sort of things. And then visual stability, which is, you know, how much moving stuff have you got going on? Have you got boxes flying everywhere, or is it actually a very clean site that just scrolls nicely and worked well? So these are what are called core web vitals, and they're becoming now almost the foundation for Google to start to rank sites. It hasn't forgotten about the other things like SSL, mobile first, or all of those type of issues, but this is now becoming sort of the core for their ranking of your site. All right, Nicole, back to you.
Yeah, so I often get asked by a lot of people a lot of questions around SEO and also pay-per-click advertising. I think it's a massively under-tapped opportunity for recruitment companies to be found online in the first place. SEO takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of time, and you need to use an expert ideally to help you get there. Pay-per-click advertising, though, is, in essence, you pay to be found on the front page of Google. Now, I'm not saying if you're in medical recruitment, you go out and you want to bid on the word doctor jobs, because that could be an exorbitant amount per click. What I would be recommending that you think about, what are those job opportunities or the clients that you're trying to attract? Most searches that go on in Google are longer than 4 words long. So that could be emergency locum jobs, Gundawindi, for instance. Now, you're not going to type that in unless you are one. And it's also not going to cost you much per click when someone clicks on it. You can be pretty much guaranteed it's going to be a pretty relevant click when that occurs. The best thing about pay-per-click advertising that people don't realize is if no one clicks on you, your brand is being seen. So you're constantly reinforcing your brand online to people that are searching, and you only pay when they click. Now, there's lots of places you can be doing pay-per-click advertising and retargeting and remarketing, and we will be touching on a few of those shortly. But, you know, YouTube's now the largest search engine. People are using YouTube all the time. You can pay to advertise there. Even if the click-through rates are only 1 to 3% on the paid advertising, 97% of what you're doing is free, basically, and your brand is appearing. So I would be looking at pay-per-click advertising. The average conversion rate chart that you can see in front of you, the purple line in the middle is the average conversion on AdWords for employment. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of searches going on out there for jobs and employment opportunities. You want to be found.
Great, thanks, Nicole. Just want to add to that, if you are looking to get into SEO, PPC, or paid advertising for your business, I'd highly recommend that you do ask whoever you engage with whether they have experience in recruitment. We've heard lots of horror stories where people engage companies that don't really understand the different silos we spoke about before, or what you're actually trying to do. You know, years ago, I had someone bidding on LinkedIn jobs, and they just spent thousands of dollars, and finally they realized that, you know, it wasn't helping them at all, and they just thought that was a good way for them to rank for people looking at LinkedIn. So yeah. Very scary, but it's true.
That's actually a really good point. We are happy to help you sort of navigate the best way to go about this, but really using an expert that understands recruitment is definitely paramount, because there's opportunities, if you get it right, not to waste money, to actually use it where it's going to make sense to use it. So yeah, good point. Yeah, so this one is interesting, and once again, I meet with recruitment agencies all the time, and I regularly hear we're not on social, we only do LinkedIn. And look, that's fine if that's your strategy, but in total clarity here, you know, you need to realize that you don't, when you're on LinkedIn or any of the job search areas, you know, that's people who are potentially looking for jobs sometimes. When they're on Facebook, they're normally on downtime. They're talking to their friends, or they're looking at photos. You can get in front of these people who are, you know, that golden nugget that we always talk about, passive candidates. Look at the demographics on Facebook. You know, we've got 64% of the Australian market is on Facebook, and the demographic 25 to 39 is over 6 million of those people. So they're on there. If you're starting to sort of participate and be seen by them, it's extremely effective advertising. Not only Facebook, we mentioned YouTube, but it's amazing the growth rate of YouTube as well. Instagram, Snapchat, we're going to show you a video shortly with TikTok. Now, not going to suit every audience, but you can see Facebook, it's brilliant.
Yeah. So I think as key stat here, 1 in 10 hires, 40% found the role through social media. And Nicole's got quite a few clients that are using Facebook very, very effectively to source candidates.
Yeah, I've got a couple of clients that are using Facebook, and even one in blue collar that gets 60% of their applications are actually now coming through Facebook. So I think, you know, it's worth giving it a go. Good.
On that note, we want to share with you, and we're not going to run the whole TikTok video, but just want to show you how, if you think outside the square, how things like TikTok and YouTube and all of the social we spoke about can actually help you and your clients?
Yeah, so just a different generation here. So if you're looking to get millennials, Gen Z, TikTok's all the rage. People are watching these videos. They love them. And this actual TikTok that's on here, this is the guys at Mount Gravatt Mazda in Brisbane just doing a promo video about their business.
So I'll just play a little slice of that.
Social media, ja. Who loves me online? En drugs, ik heb bang. En drugs. Alle tieners zeggen ja tegen MDMA. Je meisje is een mot, staat seks met je pa. Geen blad voor mijn mond, maar recht voor mijn rap. Ze zullen er niet zijn als ze slecht met me gaan.
Hi, can I have a McChicken? Hi.
Wow, you can really dance.
All right.
So there's lots of stuff on TikTok if you want to jump on and have a look. It's being used a lot for employment, also to sort of give a personal view of a workplace, and it could be an opportunity, you know, of bringing people into your workplace of what it's like to work there.
Yeah, quite cool. Now.
Yeah, so once again, back onto the social media, you know, how much time are people spending? This has gone up quite, I think it was 10% since COVID. Nearly 2 hours a day people are spending on social media. So once again, you know, important that you're getting your brand out there so that you can potentially be seen. Most socially used media platforms in Australia, YouTube leading the pack, followed by Facebook. And you can see there sort of the statistics of who's using what social platform. So hopefully this, getting your brand out there and thinking a little bit outside of the square of, not saying you're all not, but, you know, just thinking, move on from only LinkedIn, you know, start exploring other opportunities because it's getting more and more opportunistic.
Great. Thank you, Nicole. We're moving now back on to some tips and tricks and solutions. So you take the first one, Nick.
Yeah, so and once again, hopefully everyone is aware, but if you're not, there's a really good opportunity with LinkedIn where you can upload your candidate lists and your client lists, and you can actually retarget those people. So there's quite a few different ways to be able to do that via LinkedIn. If you haven't sort of explored that opportunity yet, I'd definitely be looking at that straight in front of that target audience.
Great. Next one is chatbots. So chatbots are being used very effectively in this space. Just want to sort of highlight the different options that you can take. So there's the sort of the live chat, which is human to human typing. So we've got one on our site pretty much everywhere. So you can chat with us if you have a question. It's super easy. It gives you instant gratification because you don't have to wait on a reply of an email or a call. It just gives you the answer straight away. So that one is definitely our preferred. The second one is sort of a combination between chat bots where you pre-program it with a workflow and answers and then give the option to talk to a human. So that's definitely also worthwhile. A couple of our clients have that very effectively. So, you know, what are you here for? You're a job seeker, then give them the next options. Are you looking for a job? Submit your resume, those sort of things. Or are you looking for, are you a client? Are you wanting to talk to one of our team to find staff? Then direct them to the right forms or the phone numbers. And then if they can't find the answer, to send them to human. And then the one that we don't particularly like for recruitment is the fully automated chatbot that you have to program quite extensively to take all the questions and find answers for them, which can be quite frustrating. And you know, my experience with that on banks or the platforms I've used, I just always type human because I can't stand the lukewarm responses that you get that never answer the question. So just sort of insights there of how we would use chatbots. We do have in our arsenal a free one that you can use, and there's quite a few free ones out there, but give it a go. It doesn't cost you anything, and you'll find probably you get quite some good engagement with that.
Just on the chatbot thing too, the opportunity I would highlight is a lot of people don't search for jobs during business hours.
Yeah.
So you really want to be able to service those candidates or clients after hours. And there are companies that can answer chat on your behalf after hours, and it's actually quite inexpensive to do that and a person will actually respond. But I'd be recommending looking at chatbots, especially to service after hours.
Yeah, great. Good.
Yeah. Video, embracing video. We know that users will spend 88% more time on a page that has video content. So where Rick was talking earlier about creating those silos within your recruitment website to talk about accounting jobs, legal jobs, putting video on that page is really, really powerful to keep people engaged and learning about your business, but also on social, as a lot of people will be aware.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Your Google Lens one is up.
Yeah, look, I was going to do, I'll just see if I can actually do this. A Google Lens, this is a bit of a fun one. You may use it for work, but you might also use it for personal. On Android and mobile devices, there is a little square that appears now in the search. If you click on that, it actually opens up the camera. I won't scan myself, but you can scan. And I'll give you a user case. A client the other day wanted to know if an image that they were about to get does appear on any other recruitment agency's websites. So we Google Lensed it and scanned the image to see where it actually did appear. So you can do things like that, but also if you're out shopping or you see someone who's got a great handbag, or you can take a quick screenshot of it and it'll tell you where to go buy it. So everything from assessing what plant is that and clicking a button to scan the plant. It's a good little function on Google. Google My Business. We've touched on Google My Business. Once again, get out there, fix your Google My Business page, really important. Backlinks. We're going to talk about backlinks to your website and helping your SEO greatly. So get yourself on directories, get yourself on Bing, get yourself on Yelp, get yourself on lots of directories, yellow pages, places that are out there where you can embed your website address so that you're dragging that traffic back to your website. All of that helps massively with SEO. Try to get some blogs out into the marketplace. They're the one bit of content that will continue to live on and be shared for a long period after you create blogs, and also another really valuable way to get lots of backlinks and help your SEO.
Great. The next one, voice search. So voice search is meant to be up by 200% in the last 6 months. Now, voice search obviously is being used from anything to go, hey, can you find a restaurant? But there's lots of searches being done for job search as well, and recruiters and so on. So now the interesting thing is that whilst everyone probably thinks that by simply having a website you appear in those searches, that is actually not the case. And whilst we have focused on Google probably for the past 10 years, voice search is now means you need to register yourself on the other platforms. So voice search is actually using Google Maps, Apple Maps, Bing Maps to surface those results. So if you, for example, use Siri, you may have a great Google presence and you might be number one in Google. It could actually mean that you don't get a result on Siri at all because they use Apple Maps. So what you actually have to do is to appear on voice searches, you need to register yourself with Apple Maps, Bing Maps, Google Maps, etc. Because Alexa, Siri, and Google Search, they all use different ways to surface those results. So as you can see, it's getting more and more complex to actually get a perfect result online. And some of the tools that we have obviously remind you to list yourself on Google Maps, etc., and in the correct fashion.
Yeah, and obviously when you get off this event, go and search for your industry niche and ask Siri or whatever you use to find you a XYZ recruiter located in XYZ and see who comes up, because there's a few coming up. We did legal recruitment, find me a legal recruiter in Brisbane, and we only had one result came up in there. So there's a bit of an opportunity there for you to sort that side out too. Yeah.
Great. What are we on to next, Nick?
Just
some more tips.
Yeah, just some other tips and tricks. Ideally, and this is going to be technology based, whether you're using Shazami or something else, but ideally you should be providing a different desktop experience to a mobile experience, ideally condensing that content down on a mobile so that it's really, really relevant. Our technology does enable you to manipulate the look and the feel of the mobile and not affect the desktop. So you can change the way that images display and different things like that. We would be recommending that for a mobile increase in conversions. One-click apply. Once again, the more clicks that you have on your website to get a person to desired outcome.
Paid.
Someone, there we go.
Don't know what's happening there. Just give us a second.
I think we're good.
We're good.
We're
We
good.
muted them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the more clicks you're asking someone to do, especially in a job application, the more opportunity there is to lose them. So obviously the one-click apply is extremely important.
And
Yep.
job alerts. So job alerts again is something that often is overlooked. We've had to convince clients in the past to actually turn job alerts on because they think people don't use it. The simple fact is, and I think you've got some good stats, Nick, you might want to share. 90% of people all use or tend to want to use job alerts to inform them of when job becomes available. And obviously if you're in a job and you're keeping an eye out, that is really the best way to get them in your inbox every single day to go, hey, there's actually a job I'm interested in and it pays more than what I'm earning. So let's jump on that.
And I think job alerts, if it's pushed from the recruiters dealing with the candidates to get subscribed up for the job alerts, even though initially that might be because they're in the job search phase, most people never ever delete those job alerts. So they keep coming in till the end of time, and the minute they're looking for a new job, they remember you because they're getting your branded job alert, as well as we have always had success with clients getting referral business because that job comes in. It's like, oh my gosh, someone just asked me if I knew anyone that could get me a job the other day, and they'll send that through. So start pushing job alerts for that free advertising for your brand.
And one of the features that we have added is actually the ability to import job alerts from a CSV file, so that if your term or your privacy policy states that you can actually create a job alert for them, it would be good every month, everyone that you've interviewed or had job applications from, just to create them a job alert so they hear from your brand. So just free advertising.
Yeah.
What's next?
So now we're going to present again, and we're just going to show you a bit of what we've just run through with you. A lot of it is obviously there's a lot to it, and people are probably going, oh my gosh, where do I start and how do I make this easier on us and the team? So we're just going to show you a tool that has changed the way a lot of recruiters manage their online presence, from being able to socially post to multiple places at one time through to being able to respond. So not having to jump into Twitter, jump into Facebook to respond. You can do it all from within this platform, as well as requesting reviews across different methods, Google, Facebook, Glassdoor, etc., and responding. So here's a bit of a video on our dashboard that brings everything together in one place. So once we plug in all your social media information and Google My Business, it all starts flowing into this dashboard. So this will give you a total overview of what's going on with your brand online across the World Wide Web. On the left navigation, you can then deep dive into each of these. So it'll look for your brand online. It'll tell you where it appears, and then it will tell you if it's got an error, and it'll suggest places where you could be appearing that you're not currently. It'll pull through all the data from the Google My Business page that we were talking about. You need to get set up. It'll tell you how many phone calls you've had off that. As you update and create new listings, they'll come through here too. reputation management and reviews, getting insights on your business. What are the words people are using about you? So you can then use them in marketing material. And some of my clients, I've got their recruiters saying, hey, make sure you mention my name because we're running an employee reputation review of the month, and you can track it all from here. Social media, so what posts are actually getting an engagement and what ones are the best performing. Or your website, or the pivotal website data like bounce rates, how many people are coming to the site, where are they coming from, you know, all that sort of stuff. And then the chatbot that we spoke about before, the free one, your data will pull through to this dashboard as well. As if you're doing any pay-per-click advertising, you can set all that up so you can see absolutely, like that's just a snippet of what the dashboard does, but all of a sudden you'll have a true understanding and control of your brand. So it's important you know that this tool is out there, because most of our clients, before they've come on board, they're potentially using 2, 3 to 5 tools to try to get some of this information, but then what they need to do is try to collate it all, which is then another whole big job as well. So the dashboard platform is a good one.
Yeah, thank you, Nicole. And I think the exciting part from my perspective is that we've been talking about this for years and years and years, and nobody that we've actually spoken to has ever been able to get more than one report a year about how their digital health is. And I guess what this is designed to do is every week and every month, it gives you a status of your digital health. And that's, I guess, the most exciting part. You don't actually need to do anything. Once you're plugged in, that's it. It runs automatically, autopilot for the next years. So it's cool. It's cool. All right, on to the next one. I know we are running on time, which is good. So the next one is about the elements of the world's best recruitment websites. So I guess, firstly, deliver what your audience expects. And obviously that goes back to the architecture. You know, if you're a client, you don't want to have to wade through pages to find your client information, and same with candidates. So your architecture again becomes super important. Candidates want to find a job, so deliver them a job search widget as soon as you go to the homepage. Create landing pages so that when you do SEO and PPC, you can actually specify certain key landing pages that you want to create, and also for clients, create landing pages that really help them find roles or candidates to fill the roles that you've been asked to fill.
I'll just actually add on the landing pages just to keep people thinking out of, you know, putting jobs, and everyone's saying at the moment, you know, putting job ads on particular job boards are extremely expensive. You know, we need to be more proactive about what we do. What should we be doing? So I've seen great success with people creating bespoke pages. We call them landing pages. They could be campaign pages, but it's almost like a giant job ad that you create for a job or a group of jobs that you can then socially share. But rather than asking people to apply, potentially think about asking them to register their interest, because as we know, not everyone is yet ready to apply for a job. But if you can get them registering their interest because they'd like to know some more, you've got them on your database. And then you've got the opportunity to obviously see if they're a good fit and sell them into that job. So you requesting further information is a good one.
Fantastic.
Chatbots we've spoken about.
Yeah, but it's the immediacy that is there, very important. You need to be on 24/7. You are ultimately a shop that needs to be open 24/7. You're selling jobs. People need to be able to engage with you. Integrations, as we all know, is super important. That you have, you know, anything that can be connected is connected. Nicole mentioned before that 88% of users spend more time on pages with video. Core Web Vitals we've spoken about. And really where we come in now is no code. So I will talk a bit about no code. So I think there's a slide next. I'm actually jumping probably ahead of time. And that's exactly what we didn't want to happen, but it did. So we spent probably 3 months researching globally where the future of technology is going. And one statement by the CEO of GitHub, which is a fundamental developer platform. He says the future of coding is no coding at all. And guess what that means is exactly what we've achieved. We've now been able to achieve probably the best platform globally in this space without a single developer ever writing a single line of code at our end. What it also means is that our clients now can become much quicker, better at maintaining the websites. Yes, there's a learning curve because nobody's been able to do this before, but what it means is we can actually build a site now, in 2 days. Talking about here, job adder integration with the previous company took 3 months. We did it in 2 days. So we're talking about massive quantums of differences in speed and delivery. So whilst we are still a startup, we are well ahead of the curve in what it means now. So how will no code benefit the industry? So this is really where it gets exciting, because what it means is that now we've got the core elements out of the way, we can move faster, we can deliver better products at speed. We've got flexibility. We're saving money at our end, but that money is being saved by you, our clients, because we can deliver it at a cheaper rate. So, previously we charged $15,000 for a website. Now we charge $750 as a start, round about the equivalent. The other one that is super good is the frustration levels. So Nicole used to call me probably 5 times a day where clients weren't overly happy with the service levels or how difficult it was to get an answer from the developers that ultimately were the gatekeeper of everything that needed to change. That has totally changed because the developer no longer is involved. It's either a support person that understands business and websites that can just make a change, as you'll see in the video that's coming up next, or we through chat provide you an instant feedback, or through our help system, which just shows you in a very short 30-second video how to do it. So all of these items are purely made possible through the no code concept. So I do encourage all of you to have a read what no code, low code means, because it is going to revolutionize
a lot of industries. Yeah.
So there's a bit of that. Now we'll figure out how to go back to showing you. Did you want to add anything, Nicole, before we play the video of what it means in reality, no code?
Yeah. So no, I think no code's definitely the future. It's in essence code that sort of ends up writing itself. So it is the latest tech. We used to have rooms of developers having to build stuff, and yes, that was a massive bottleneck to do changes on websites and updates, but now it's also simple. So we've quickly put this video together just to show you what that means from a recruitment website perspective. There is no longer any coding required. Everything is drag and drop technology. So if you're wanting to create a page, you can easily drag in a job board. You can drag in a job alert, drag in a form. It's just absolutely anyone, and the website you're going to see I built, so don't be too critical. I built that in a couple of hours actually. So you'll get to see how quick and easy this is.
And yes, I just want to add, whilst obviously we've done this at super speed, roughly in 4 months, we are also testing the capability of the no-code platform. So we have had a few challenges where things don't line up or things, but the resolution of those are now much quicker than ever before. So we are pushing the limits, and yeah, we'll just show you a bit about this. Oops, again, not very good there. Hold on. Sorry about that. It just didn't work. There we go.
Okay, so we're looking at my website here, Working Hard Recruitment, as we all are, just to show you how easy it is to move a button, change the color of a button. Anyone who's ever tried to do this in the past will know that it ended up costing you money to go to the provider to do this, or it was just a headache that took ages. Dragging things around, editing photos, even adding photos, a Christmas photo or a video now is easily doable with the click of a button. Upload your own photos, use the image database. Parallax scrolling, which makes it look like there's a lens of glass going over the top, is just done with the click of a button. Editing the search function. So this is pretty cool where you could go, actually, I don't want the job classifications on here. So click a button and it disappears. Changing the size of it, you just drag and drop it, all very easy. You'll love the functionality with the jobs. They don't need to look like all the jobs do all the time now. So like we're using some crazy colors here, but you can see how easy it is to customize the look of the job feed, change the borders. So we're actually coming out with some more sort of unusual views as well, which will make recruiters different. At the end of the day, it's about the jobs, and we want to make you guys look as different as you want. If you're wanting to add text or imagery or anything to the website, it's all drag and drop now. So you just choose it, and then you can go about customizing it and styling it to whatever you want. When we set you up in the first instance, there is a style guide already in place. So every time you create a page or you do something, it will follow that brand guideline. Just showing here how easy it is now, obviously, to edit a photo and change the look, and you can change the text and everything really simply. Mobile device, we spoke about this earlier, a bit frustrating. Whatever was on your desktop ended up appearing on your mobile, and sometimes it wasn't good, but being able here to easily hide this. So if we don't want to hide the page or the image we just created, we can hide it on a mobile. So it's now really easy. Creating pages. So if you're wanting to create one of those landing pages that we spoke about before, you can do that easily from within here yourself. You can also reach out to us for help. And you can go about stylizing and customizing a page, and any page that's on the website, it's easy to duplicate it and create another one. So once you've made a really great one, you might want to keep using that. Pop-ups. So you can customize pop-ups and have them for all sorts of different reasons. Get someone to sign up for a job alert on their first visit. Yeah, so lots of things there that you can do.
Great. And I think,
and the job board. So just quickly here, just showing from a job board perspective, you know, if you're wanting to edit, customize your job board, everything is sort of changeable, colors, fonts, what's on there, what's not, to jobs next to each other, one single row. So very simple.
Good. So that was just an overview of the best recruitment websites that we've created. I guess the underlying message here is that, as we've talked through all of this, is that to be more successful online, to get a better cut through, to make more repeat sales, to get to that point, you need to really start with understanding the foundation that you need, the site architecture, and then have the ability to move at a greater speed than ever before, because that's what the audiences require. And then at the same time, make sure that if you do embark on spending more money on SEO, PPC, retargeting, etc., you actually have the vehicle, the platform to make that happen without having to go to external parties to go, can you please change this button? Can you add me another page? Can you do this? Everything needs to be now at the speed of light, where you can actually do things when you want to do it, which is you're probably at night, 8 o'clock after your day job, having a glass of wine, and you want to create another landing page. That needs to be done when you want to do, not during the day-to-day work that you do. So there's a bit of what we think.
Hopefully there's some good tips there.
Yeah.
Question and answers.
Questions and answers.
Very good, very good. Lots of content, and then everyone, Rick and Nicole had a lot of extra content that they're willing to share with you later. I'll be sending you their contact details so you can ask more questions that might be specific to your business. But we've got one question in straight away from Justin. Can I ask how it works for the job search and alerts? What add-ons are used? And let me also add to that question, how about integrations with all the other recruitment technology platforms out there? Do you want to talk to that?
Good question. Thank you, Justin. So we probably actually have more integrations now than we've ever had before. So obviously the popular ones, JobAdder, Bullhorn, etc. And the integrations are far more flexible now. So we've got the ability to change sort of how the content comes through. So that's that's on the client basis, whereas before it was all standard across the board. The job alerts, yeah, we've got obviously job alerts that can now be actually got an initial upgrade coming where, again, you can pick the fields that you want in the job alerts. At the moment, all platforms, they send it out exactly the same. So we've added tags where you can just say, well, I actually want to show the city and the salary, or I don't, or you want to make it a different color. So we're actually doing a lot around the customization of those alerts and seeing who's opened them, who's not opened them. Quite extensive tracking on that. Did I miss any part of that question, Tony?
I think that was good, Justin. I hope you're okay with that. If anyone wants to unmute and ask a question, you're very welcome to, and to go on video and, you know, all those burning questions about recruitment marketing. I've got a quick one while everyone's thinking about it. Oh no, we've got a question in here. From Adam. Just give me a second while I can read it properly. So Adam, so the social platform dashboard you showed earlier, can you post to multiple places, say like at Hootsuite, etc.? You still there, Rick and Nicole? Your bandwidth is just a little bit tacky at the moment.
Yeah. I didn't hear that last question. We seem to have recovered, but
okay. Now, if you go to the chats, you'll see Adam's asked a question about the dashboard. Can you post to multiple places such as Hootsuite?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah, so it is a bit like Hootsuite. You can post to multiple platforms. So the good thing is it also posts to Google My Business, Instagram, Facebook, multiple LinkedIn accounts, Twitter, and you can schedule the posts to go out, and you can customize the content that goes to each of those and edit. Yeah.
Yeah, good. And you can
see the questions now.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll respond to them.
No. Yes, okay. You can respond to when a comment comes in, so you can respond from within there. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that without having to go into the individual platforms.
Correct.
All right, and a question from TransSearch. Firstly, thank you, they said. And, you know, sometimes we don't get many questions, and there's a good sign that we are getting questions, and a lot of questions. What experience have you both had with executive search firms, which is quite a specific part of our market, using social media? They use LinkedIn and Facebook, but not others. Should they be expanding the social media marketing?
I'll let Rick comment in a sec, but my personal opinion is if you're going to be posting to LinkedIn, why don't you post everywhere? Because it doesn't cost you anything, especially if you use a tool like the dashboard, where it's not going to take you ridiculous amounts of time to share content. Let's face it, look at Facebook, Instagram, they're all but heavily searched. If you can pick up on Twitter one person that otherwise didn't find you being a client or a candidate, it's well worth it.
Yes, and I'll add, I think 2020 and 2021 has seen executive search, in my opinion, totally change. We're actually at a lunch the other day and we're talking around it, and it's now much more acceptable to use things like Facebook and say, do you know anyone that would suit the director of XYZ at Rail, for example? It is now, all the barriers almost seem to have gone. People sit at home, the kids walk behind them, the cat barks, for example.
The cat barks.
The cat barks. All of these things are now, in my opinion, showing the human part of recruitment. And I think Facebook and TikTok and those sort of things lend themselves very much better than ever before.
I mean, you might not do a TikTok for, who knows? But I think there's different tools that you can be using. An exec search, I think it's just, especially if you can get in front of people who aren't expecting to see jobs that are your perfect audience. I just think it's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
I think so. And I think we're dealing with people, and video plays perfectly to that, particularly now that during periods of isolation, we can spread our businesses wider now. We really can, and it's acceptable to do that. And there's so many good tools to be able to do it now. There's been an acceleration of technology, really, hasn't there?
Yeah, there has.
Okay, we've got a couple more. First of all, Lloyd Connect said, what are highly recommend the platform from Shazami as a new customer. It's an all-encompassing platform, they've said, and they've delivered all that you've seen today for their recruitment firm. So thanks, Lloyd Connect.
David.
Thank you, David. We love you.
That's David. And from Rob Darby at GBS in Victoria. Hi, Rick and Nicole. Thanks for this. How would it work with old job alerts set up on existing JXT platforms if we were to move across? We've had many years of alerts set up that they don't want to lose.
Yeah, good question, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob. So we have a job alert import. So it'd be a matter of if you kept everything the same, so the same classifications, the same locations, it would be a matter of downloading as a CSV file through your reporting system and uploading them into our system. That in itself is not hard. The problem starts when you want to start changing your classifications and locations. So, and if you do, then it means you just got to map lots of different fields across. But we've already done that once or twice, and it's not a problem at all.
Very good. All right. Thank you for that. I hope that helps, Rob. Now from Beth O'Neill. Hi, everybody. Does the marketing dashboard platform cover job ad platforms as well as just social?
Yeah, so we're not a multi-posting tool to job boards. Okay. But what we can do is subscribe to your job board feed as an RSS feed, which would then, that's actually part of the dashboard as well, as you can subscribe to RSS feeds and then share that content out. So we would subscribe to the job feed and you'd be able to share your jobs out socially from within that platform to multiple places at once.
Okay, good. All right.
Hopefully that answered that question.
I think so. What other typical questions are you getting asked in the marketplace rather?
The most common one is how quickly can you build us across? Because that there seems to be quite a few issues around the current providers. So I think obviously David had some experience with that. If it's a like for like, which typically is obviously easy for us, we can do it in a matter of days, but typically we allow for 2 or so weeks. Obviously the more you want it exactly the same, the harder it can be, because platforms can be slightly different. So that's why we sort of say, we can 80% we can copy across, same images, same everything else. But then when you want to tune it, that's where it really comes into. We've obviously now got close to 50 clients. We've gone through all the teething that we could imagine. We're working with a client that is exceptionally precise at the moment on everything, and we've sort of been able to tick everything off much better than we did 3 months ago. So we're learning, and obviously it becomes easier every single time. And we've got the fulfillment team that we've got is growing as well. Before we did it ourselves. So look, it's all part of the growth curve.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, very good.
Still with you? Yep.
Yeah. Rick and Nicole, we might finish up there because we've got a bunch of people that are having to leave to go to meetings, and we've got a few more extra questions that perhaps they can make contact with you. And as I mentioned, we're going to be sending your presentation to everybody and a copy of the recording as well, with your contact details, so people can that are maybe a bit shy to ask you specific questions around their business and where they're headed, and like me, might be a little bit embarrassed about their website anyway and don't want to draw attention to it. So, I want to thank you very much. Great content there. We could have gone for 2 hours easily, and probably need a part 2 session later. And actually, part 2 later might be really good because you would have learned so much more, and the technology would have changed even more. But really useful ideas. Thank you very, very much for joining us today on Captain's Table. So,
thank you, Tony. Thanks, everyone.
So look, I just want to just wrap up now and thank everyone very much for attending. I know everyone's busy. The market is very busy right now, and technology is on everyone's minds at the moment, and how to do things more efficiently, especially if you're in a candidate short market and really trying to find and access and communicating with these hard to get candidates. So thank you everyone very much for attending, and particularly also thank you our sponsors, Job Ad Airs Group, DigitPro, William Buck, and A Positive. thank you all very much for supporting us at Captain's Table, and we really are looking forward to seeing you all again next month, where William Buck are going to do a really special presentation for everyone on the financial side of recruitment, and which is a really good follow-up to the marketing side. So thank you, everyone, and look forward to seeing you next month, and appreciate you all being here today. And thanks again, Rick and Nicole.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Stay well. Bye.